Hey, what's happening, peeps? It's Owl Nimbus here. I just want to thank you guys, the fans, for all the support that you guys been giving me. And I want to thank you for the 100 subscribers on YouTube. And my way of thanking the 100 subscribers, I'm going to give you not 10 things I can't live without, but 12 things I can't live without. So let's begin. Item number 1, phone, which is what I'm using to film this right now at this exact very moment. The smartphone is pretty much the best thing that's ever came out in the future, the year of 2020. And now it makes it so much more easier, especially if you're a person who's a producer or an artist or a gamer. And if you want to share your stuff on Instagram, phone's the best thing for you, and I can't live without it. Number 2, anime. I'm a huge fan of anime and manga, and right now I got my Evangelion shirt on right now. But I have a bunch of anime laying around, and I probably the first anime I ever saw was Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid. I was probably about 10 or 11, and I used to wake up every morning for school, and it would always be Dragon Ball Z. It was always hard to watch it though, because it was a show that you kind of had to watch in order, and if you missed maybe an episode or two a week, you were completely thrown off on what was going on. But ever since then, I always collected anime. I have Initial D laying around. I got Attack on Titan, of course. I also got I got School Rumble. I love School Rumble. And also some manga laying around of Attack on Titan. But by far, probably my most favorite one of all time is Samurai Champloo. If you haven't seen Samurai Champloo, highly recommend this one. It's great. Number 3, video games. Video games has pretty much been my lifetime passion since I was a kid. The first video game I ever remember playing when I was a little kid was Ninja Gaiden on the NES, and it was super hard, but I do remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog at my nephew's house, and my cousin, he had a Super Nintendo, and he had Super Mario World. This is probably when it very first came out, and he had Super Mario World. I remember when I was young, I used to pretend that I was sick so that way I can go to my aunt's house to go play his Super Nintendo. And still to this day, I still carry a bunch of video games on me. You never know, especially when you go to the DMV and it's super boring. But I got my 3DS here, and I also got an SP. I still carry my SP and it still works. Love this thing. Number 4, coffee. Every morning when I wake up, I always have coffee. Now, I usually have them in K-cups. I want to get one of those pour-over things, like how they have in Tokyo Ghoul. That would be pretty cool. And you can't be a coffee drinker without your favorite mug. Mine's Captain Levi coffee mug. So, yeah. Number 5, Converses. I used to not wear Converses when I was a kid, but probably not until I got into high school. And when there was a rapper named The Game, and he came out with an album called The Documentary, but he always wore Converses, and ever since then I always thought they were really cool. And probably in high school, that's when I really started wearing them. I got them in all kind of different colors and stuff, but they're they're not super expensive either, and you can get them in different kind of designs and materials. I have one that's made of leather. The black leather ones are really cool, especially if you've seen iRobot. iRobot, Will Smith, he has a pair of black leather Converses, and he's playing Stevie Wonder's Superstition. And I had to get a pair of those too. So, and that's it. Converse All-Stars. Gotta have them. Number 6, it kind of sounds super simple, but glasses. I really do need glasses. I can't drive without them. Like if I wear glasses and I take them off, it probably would look like this, and I can't see anything at all. So that's why I need them. Can't live without them. And the other thing about glasses is that whenever you watch like a horror movie and I see a guy wearing glasses, he's always one of the guys to die, but he always dies because he loses his glasses. Like, you ever see The Mummy, and then they were all scrambling and he drops his glasses, and then he was trying to grab him, the guy stepped on him, and the mummy came by and ripped his eyes out and his tongue. That's why you need these. I don't know why, but it's an omen. If you lose your glasses, it's easier that you can die that way. And number 7, MPC. My MIDI Production Center, as I believe that's what it stands for. But this is a Machine MK3, and this is what I use to pretty much make all my beats on them, on all these. This is by far probably the best purchase I ever made in my entire life, because I always was interested in music, but I was never ever sure how to do it or how to make beats or anything like that. And ever since I bought an MPC, it just having it, it's just, like I said before, it's the best purchase I ever made in my entire life, I would say. And I'm still learning this MPC, and I don't think that there is that many limits on this thing. There's so much you can do with it, and it's so much fun. And if you're thinking about getting an MPC, get one. Now, you don't have to get a Machine MK3. You can also go with like an Ableton or like an SP404. I'm actually thinking about getting one of those, but MPC, can't live without it. Number 8, Jiu-Jitsu. I'm at 3 stripes, but I haven't gone back in a long time, but I definitely do want to go back. But Jiu-Jitsu, I'd say, probably made a giant impact in my life. I remember the first time I don't know if you guys ever like run into this, but I was always very insecure about going out in public and things like that, because if something ever got physical, you never know what to do. And the first time I ever thought about doing jiu-jitsu, I used to work, I was probably about 19 at the time, and I worked at a Harbor Freight Tools. And there was this guy, he was fresh out of high school, and he was like a jock, and he was super big. We used to work at Harbor Freight Tools, and when it was closing time, there was no one else on the floor. The manager was always way in the back, and then they had to count the money or whatever. And he would always wrestle me, and I would always lose. And he used to always put me like in a side, like a wrestler's headlock, and then do that thing where they like give you a noogie and stuff like that. And it never ever really felt good. And I remember this is when YouTube was like just starting to really expand. And I would go home and YouTube how to get out of a headlock, and then it was I didn't know it was jiu-jitsu at the time, and then he had like a little technique on how to get out of the wrestler's headlock. And then about a week later, it was the same situation. We were closing, and he decides to do the same thing, wrestler's headlock. I grabbed him by his hip, and then grabbed him by his behind his knee, and then basically took him down to the ground, and he still held on to it. And then he basically gave up his back, and then I had like the hooks in, and then a high seat belt, that's what they would call it. And he really couldn't go anywhere, and then he basically tapped out. And then ever since then, he never messed around with me. And I was like, wow, this stuff works. And then started training. I really do need to go back, and I want to go back. But jiu-jitsu is one of those things I can't live without. Number 9 sounds kind of random at this point, but candles. I don't know why, but I really like candles in my room, and they always smell really good. Like this one is bergamot and saddlewood. I always get this one over at, they have this at Rayleigh's. I don't know, like I was out there browsing, and I had an extra, like Rayleigh's is really expensive, but I was out there shopping, and I had like a few extra couple bucks on my, and then I saw this, I was like, you know, I don't have any candles. And then, oh my God, they smell so good. And I started buying this brand, this Vineyard Hill Naturals. That's what I bought. And then ever since I bought that brand, never went back. But they all, for some reason, these ones smell really, really good. So number 9 is candles. Number 10, internet. I can't live without the internet. I love the internet ever since it came out. I remember way back in the LimeWire days, it was like, whoa. And there's so much access to information. It doesn't matter. I learned so many things from the internet, from jiu-jitsu to how to change a starter, to how to start your own YouTube channel, how to make beats, how to do mixing. There's so much you can learn off the internet. And I think YouTube and streaming services, online gaming, I feel like it opened up a whole new branch of marketing. Or if you ever want to be like in a salesman, or if you just want to be entertained, internet's the way to go. And it feels weird when you don't have Wi-Fi. I mean, you can get used to it, but it's not the same. There's something about just having it and having that access to information. It's incredible stuff, and I hope that we have more technology come out in the future. So, internet. Number 11, music. I always have access to music. I'm probably one of the few people that actually have a cassette tape player, and I always have like this one. Shout out to In the Clouds. He's the one that made this Owl Nimbus cassette tape, and I was always the guy that always has headphones. I always have headphones laying around stuff, but I have music on vinyl as well, which is basically the other beat tape that I have, and on vinyl. I have so many records on vinyl, and then you guys probably know the story by now, but I used to, I went to like a storage unit and someone didn't pay for it, and they were selling all this stuff, and then they had a bunch of records, and I bought a couple records, and then ever since then I started collecting them. And pretty much when I first got the iPod, the little Nano, the second generation one with the click wheel, and you put music on it, there's so much you can fit in there. And I was one of those kids that also had like the backpack and with a CD player, the one with a little Walkman, and you had to walk perfectly still or else it would start skipping. I never really had good CD players back then, but sometimes you did, but sometimes when you bought them, they would like skip whenever you would walk around with it, and you always had to have batteries on you. But and I listen to a lot of music too. I listen to anything from hip hop to soul to future funk, vaporwave to pretty much like Johnny Cash. I love Johnny Cash's stuff. Metal, I love 80s metal. Anything from Metallica to Megadeth to Rat. Huge music fan. So, music. And number 12, last one. I guess it kind of goes with music, but headphones. I always have a pair of headphones laying around. For the most part, I usually have maybe about like 2 pairs on hand, but this is the ones I use with my MPC, and I also have some regular headphones. I'm not a really big fan of earbuds though. I don't like when you stick them in your ear. I mean, it's all right because you can put them in your pocket and things like that. But I like the ones that go over your head. Every time when you're out jogging, so it always like falls out. Or if you have like those iPhone earbuds, when they fall out, they fall like a football. When it lands, it always goes off in some direction. You can never ever find them again. And plus they're really expensive. So I usually stay around like the $25 mark for headphones. If it's anything beyond that, then unless they're specifically like Audio Technicas, and I'll pay for those. But headphones, every time when they break, I hate it when my life is miserable when I don't have headphones. So headphones. And that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys, the subscribers, all 100 of you. And I know we're going to make this channel grow. If you like this stuff, feel free to subscribe. I'll probably do a video later on how to put music on vinyl and how to put them on cassette tapes if you guys are interested in that. And thank you guys so much for all the support. Owl Nimbus, out. Later. Bye.